The Truth About Abs is an ebook written by Mike Geary. This is a quick PowerPoint presentation giving you an overview and also a review of how good or how bad the book is. If you're considering buying it, it would be a good idea to listen to this review before you do. Who is Mike Geary? Well, it turns out that he is a nutritionist and also a personal trainer. Now, in my opinion, that can only be a good thing. I think nutrition and the exercise format for abs are probably the two cornerstones, the two most important things when it comes to creating a six-pack. One can't exist without the other, and I think the mistake that I have made for a long time is not really emphasizing the nutrition element or aspect of my exercise regime, because I've never really been a big eater. My diet has normally been relatively okay. However, I think as life's gone on, started working after university and just got to the point where you were working really hard and food became something that you could grab when you had a few minutes. You never really thought about it, fast food, etc., etc. And I think over time things have started to go out of shape, which is not great if you just leave it and let it drift. So hence I spent quite a long time doing some research as to what would be the perfect way for me to start trimming, losing that belly fat, and if I'm going to lose the belly fat, I might as well go the whole hog and try and create a six-pack if I can. It is difficult, and it does take a lot of discipline to lose the weight and then also create the six-pack. But it does also take knowledge, and I think if you can work really hard, and you can try and eat well, or eat what you think is a good balanced diet, and exercise on a regular basis. But if you're not doing it correctly, then your efforts are going to be fruitless and you're just going to get frustrated and give up. The problem I had was that a lot of the information that I was finding online, reading in books, and from my own personal experience, because I did go to the gym on a regular basis, was conflicting. It wasn't easy to understand what was right and what was wrong. I just wasn't sure whether I was eating the right foods. I wasn't sure if I was doing the right exercises. I was doing basically what everybody else does, and that was, treadmill, crunches, trying to do quite a bit of aerobic exercise, playing tennis, etc. And after I read Mike Geary's book, I realised that, hey, you know what? You're not actually doing any of it right. There are lots of things you're doing wrong, and in fact, I was probably doing more harm than good. It was a real eye-opener, but it does take discipline, and you really need to be committed. It won't happen overnight, and you need to be quite patient. Will it work for you? I'm not qualified to answer that question. The only reason is because I think it really is a matter of commitment. If you feel as though it is an important part of your life and you put in the effort and the time, then you'll reap the benefits and the rewards. If you're not prepared to put in the time and the effort, then obviously it's going to be impossible. In theory, the concepts should work because they are sound. The principles in the book itself are sound. They cover what you should be eating, how to remove a lot of the visceral fat that surrounds your internal organs in your abdomen, how you can, once you've removed that fat, the right foods to eat, foods that will increase your metabolic rate, burn that fat that is there. Once that's done, then it gives you the correct exercises to train your abdominal muscles and give you the six-pack that you want. I mean, there are a lot of benefits to doing this. I mean, your core strength will improve, your posture will improve, your abdominal area is the core of your body, and if you play a lot of different sports, it's really going to help, but it'll also just help your general well-being. It worked for me. I mean, I was I've always been around 12 stone, 5'11". Never really had a problem with weight, but then I started to drift, as I said before, and my weight started to get close to 13 and a half stone. I was too heavy, and all of that weight was basically in my stomach, and it was through bad diet, drinking too much, just living a normal life. However, I changed my food diet regime, cut out the foods that I thought were pretty good for me, but were causing a lot of issues, and it worked. The weight started to go. I was disciplined. I was doing the exercises. You don't need to be a member of a gym as well for the exercises. Might make sure that you can exercise at home with very minimal equipment, and you can even do it without any weights, etc. At that level is purely at your own discretion, but you're not going to be handicapped if you can't go to a gym. So if you have the discipline, if you're motivated, and you are patient, I don't see why it can't work for you. I've only really been trying for the last 4 or 5 years to, actually probably less than that, 3 or 4 years, where I thought, well, you know what, it's starting to irritate me. I'm starting to put on a little bit of weight, but tomorrow, mañana. However, it's really in the last 18 months or so that I thought, right, I'm going to join a gym. I'm going to do some research online, try and download some ebooks on diet and nutrition, really start thinking about what I'm eating, start thinking about my training regime. And it was at that point that I just started to get loads of mixed messages. I didn't know whether to buy some of the machines that you can find online, that always inevitably end up on eBay. All the diet and nutrition books were really they were giving me mixed messages, and it was only really until I found the truth about abs that I realized that I could do this, and everything is there in one place. So, and Mike explains everything clearly. You know what you're meant to be eating, you know what your portion sizes are meant to be, you also know what exercises work, which exercises don't, and you can also fit the entire regime into your lifestyle. It's changed my life. It's made me more confident. It's just made me feel less bloated. I feel my clothes fit me properly instead of them all getting a little bit too tight. I have the confidence to be on the beach. I spent a week and a half in Greece this year, and it was fantastic, whereas the year before I was constantly holding in my stomach, and being very conscious of letting the flab hang over my swimming trunks, which wasn't great. But I was committed to the entire concept, and I spent I wanted this to happen. I wanted to look fit, lean and healthy again, and I made the effort to make it happen. And my expectations were that I would need to be disciplined to make this happen, and you need to have the same expectations. You can't expect an overnight miraculous change without putting in the effort, which I'm sure you will do.